Do you want Mr. Bryant in the waiting room until we're ready for him?
Yes, please. So right now we have Mr. Demetrius Brooks.
Yes.
See if I can find, all right, Mr. Brooks. This is case number SP 12409-581. Demetrius Brooks, driver's license suspended. Count 2, that same ticket, same defendant, no insurance. SP 134-15591. No operator's license on person. SX 594-8901. No operator's license on person. 173-528-681. Driver's license expired. 18437-4891. No operator's license on person. U5 147-8119. Violation of the firearms ordinance. 1553-72601. Driver's license suspended. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matters for Mr. Demetrius Brooks. Mr. Brooks, if you're in the virtual courtroom, please say your name for the record.
Demetrius Brooks.
Thank you. Who's representing Mr. Brooks?
I am, Your Honor, Jane Carver, P73285, on behalf of Mr. Brooks.
And for the people, Mr. Geringer.
Attorney Luke Geringer, P85677, appearing on behalf of the city of Detroit.
Thank you. And how are we proceeding with Mr. Brooks?
As far as the arraignment on the bench warrant, Your Honor, we'd ask that you recall the warrants, enter a not guilty plea, and waive the formal reading.
It is so ordered.
And
Mr.
Mr.
warrants are recalled and not guilty pleas are entered in each matter.
Thank you.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Mr. Brooks, would like to set all of these matters for a pretrial date, Your Honor. He's taken some steps to get his license back, but we're working on even more amicable resolution of all of these matters without going to trial. So we'd ask for a pretrial date.
Mr. Brooks, the court will enter a not guilty plea for you in all matters. Your pretrial date is November 30, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Your Honor, November 30.
8:30 in the morning. And sir, you may connect by Zoom the same way you did today. We will give you a personal bond. It means you do not have to pay any money, but you must reconnect on November 30 at 8:30 in the morning. Any questions, Mr. Brooks?
No.
All right, sir, you may disconnect from the hearing.
Okay. You have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Ms. Carver, who's the next one you wish to bring in? Is it Eric Baker?
Eric Baker. Yep, Eric Baker.
Okay. Case number U 67794923. Eric Baker offering to engage the services of another for an act of prostitution. Mr. Baker, if you're in the virtual courtroom, please say your name for the record.
Big Darrell Baker.
What's your first name?
Eric, ERIC.
Thank you very much. Who's representing Mr. Baker?
Jane Carver, P73285, on behalf of Mr. Baker.
All right.
Mr. Baker would like to set this matter for a bench trial.
Okay. Mr. Baker, we will continue a not guilty plea. We will give you a date for bench trial, which is November 30, 8:30 in the morning. The officer will be notified. Was this an officer or police officer decoy, or was this?
Yes, I believe there's an officer on this, Officer Jones.
Okay, so we will give you a the trial date, sir, of November 30. The officer will be notified to appear. We will give you continue a personal bond for you, which means you do not have to pay any money. Mr. Baker, you may have to pay the cost of trial of a bench trial should we go forward with a trial, which would be $100, I believe. Any questions, Mr. Baker?
None so far.
Okay. If there are no other questions or anything, does there need to be any discovery exchanged, Mr. Geringer, that you know of?
Judge, if there is a discovery, I will have that prepared for whoever's house counsel that day.
All right, then, Mr. Baker, you may disconnect if you have no questions.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. And Ms. Carver, who's the next person?
Bonner or Eric Bryant, they're both pleas.
Okay, so we can bring in Bonner. And is it Timmy Bonner? Yes. All right, this is case number. I just saw Mr. Bonner. Case number SP 143-493-72. Timmy Allen Bonner, driving an unregistered or untitled vehicle, count 3 of that same ticket, no insurance. 217-389-961. Same defendant, open alcohol in a motor vehicle passenger. SP 143-493-71. No operator's license on person. So those are 1, 2, 3, 4 matters for Mr. Timmy Allen Bryant. Mr. Bryant, if you're in the virtual courtroom.
Bonner.
I'm sorry, Bonner. Mr. Bonner, I'm so sorry. If you're in the virtual courtroom, sir, please say your name for the record.
Timmy Allen Bonner.
Thank you. Who's representing Mr. Bonner?
Jane Carver, P73285, on behalf of Mr. Bonner.
All matters are scheduled for arraignment on the bench warrant. How do you wish to proceed?
We'd ask that you recall the warrants, enter not guilty pleas, and you can waive the formal reading. And Ms. Bonner is prepared to plead.
All right. It is so ordered. We will recall the bench warrants. Enter not guilty plea for you at this stage. My understanding is you're pleading, and what will that plea be, Madam Clerk, Madam Counsel?
He'll plead as charged to the open alcohol passenger, and all 3 other matters will be dismissed.
Okay, Mr. Geringer, do you wish to be heard on this matter?
Attorney Luke Geringer, P85677, appearing on behalf of the city of Detroit. Defense counsel has accurately stated the record, the offer on the record.
All right, thank you. Mr. Bonner, you've heard the representation of your lawyer. Are you in agreement with that representation?
Yes.
And so you understand that normally you would have the right to have an in-person hearing in the 36th District Court. But because of the pandemic, the court has been conducting certain matters on the Zoom technology. And you have agreed to participate on that technology today. Is that right?
Yes.
Sir, please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now I've got something strange on my screen. Okay, it's gone. Okay, Mr. Bonner, you may lower your hand if you haven't already. Did you have an opportunity to speak to your attorney today?
Yes.
Did anyone threaten you, force you, or promise you anything in exchange for your plea today?
No.
And your attorney advised you of all of your rights. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty of your own free will?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you will be waiving or giving up your right to a trial?
Yes.
And sir, knowing that you're waiving or giving up your rights to a trial, you wish to continue and plead guilty. Is that right?
Yes.
Sir, on the date, the time, and the location indicated in the ticket ending in 9961, Were you in the city of Detroit?
Yes,
Were you in a motor vehicle as a passenger?
no. It, the pageant I had the bottles and cans. He had open alcohol in there, but it was my vehicle.
You were driving the vehicle?
Yes,
You weren't the offender, though. You weren't the one with the open alcohol, but
no,
your passenger had an open alcohol.
yes.
Okay. What was he drinking?
Marky Bass Ice.
What? What is that?
He was drinking.
Milwaukee
He was drinking Milwaukee Bass. I canned a beer. He opened it.
Milwaukee's best. That's a
Milwaukee's
beer.
best. Okay. All right, sir. Ms. Carver, are you satisfied?
Yes, Your Honor.
The court will accept the guilty plea being satisfied with the factual basis. And we will accept the recommendation to dismiss the remaining matters previously read into the record. Okay, well, Mr. Bonner, your passenger might owe you a contribution on this fine.
I
Because
told him that. He never gave me my money before I said it done. I told him he owed me.
fine is $75, sir. And that amount is due within 30 days. Are you able to pay that amount within 30 days?
Yes, I should be able to have it. Yes.
All right, sir. And you just can't have people in your vehicle that are going to cause you problems like this. They're going to have to get rid of that beer before they get in your car next time. It's too costly, right?
Yes, you got that right.
Okay, sir. All right. If there's nothing further, you can pay that fine online or in the 36th District Court at the pay window or in the kiosk. And you have 30 days to do that. And you may disconnect, Mr. Bonner, if you have no other questions.
Okay, have a nice one.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Okay. Now, you had somebody else, Miss Eric Bryant? Was
Yes.
that- Okay. So, Mr. Eric Bryant, case number SP 146-93432, Eric Theodore Bryant. And the charge is driver's license suspended. Mr. Eric Theodore Bryant, if you're in the virtual courtroom, please turn your camera on and say your name for the record. Mr. Bryant, I see your name, but I don't see you.
Start video. I'm trying to see at the bottom.
I'll ask you to start it. There, I just asked you to, so.
Okay, thank you, sir. We see you now.
Okay.
It's dark in there, but we see you. Okay, good. It was, well, okay. All right. Can you turn a light on?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Now you're garbled. Are you in your vehicle, sir? I do see you now, but now I'm having trouble hearing you. Mr. Bryant, say your name for the record. Oh, we got a problem.
Sometimes, Your Honor, when the video's on, it does not, the sound is affected.
You see me?
I can see you and I can hear you better. Madam Court Reporter, can you hear Mr. Bryant?
A little bit, Your Honor.
Let me hear you say your name again, Mr. Bryant. Can you say your name, sir? We cannot hear you.
I had to turn off his video earlier to hear him.
That's going to be a problem. Mr. Bryant might have to come into the courthouse or find a device that has better reception. Mr. Bryant? Mr. Bryant, we cannot hear you. In fact, you're not moving your mouth, so you must not be able to hear us. Mr. Bryant, if we cannot hear you and you cannot hear us, we're going to have to reschedule you at a time when you can either come into the courthouse or have a more reliable device. Can you hear me? If you hear me, wave your hand. Oh, goodness, I don't know.
Well, if we turn off his camera, he can at least hear us. I'm pretty sure.
Well, he can't even, say your name, Mr. Bryant.
Mr. Bryant, can you say your name?
So much for your theory, Miss Carver.
Well, it worked before, Your Honor.
Mr. Bryant. Oh, I don't, okay. You know what? Let's put him back in the waiting room momentarily. And maybe we can talk to him after we finish the docket. We can either try him again or give him a new date. Okay, so
There-
you have
there-
someone else, Miss Carver?
I don't, but Mr. Bryant has a couple in default that I was going to ask you to take out of default. So if we do have a new date, that will need to be addressed. I would like to address that.
Are they civil infractions?
Yes,
How old are they?
not old.
What's that mean?
This year, August, I believe August. I need to look.
Okay. Madam Clerk, you can maybe look those up. If they're over 6 months, I can't take them out.
I don't believe they're over 6 months.
Okay, Madam Clerk can verify that for me. And then in the meanwhile, these other persons that are in the waiting room, Eric, let's see, Bonner, didn't we took Mr. Bonner's plea?
Yeah, I don't know why he's back.
Teran Brown and,
That's mine, Judge. That's a not guilty.
okay, let me bring in Teran Brown. And then Angel Booker, who's is that?
So that is the young lady that I told you about earlier when you first got on. I said she thought that her court date was today, but it was actually on the 12th.
Did you give her? Okay, let me bring in Mr. Brown. I think we're gonna have to give that young lady a new date. I don't know. Because you don't have, well, let's see. Teran Brown, this case is Teran Earl Brown.
Yes,
Number. Is it Teran or Teran, sir?
it's Teran.
Teran, SP 128-78321. Teran Earl Brown, open alcohol and a motor vehicle driver. Count 2 of that same charge. No insurance, that same ticket rather, no insurance. So Mr. Brown just has those 2 matters. Mr. Teran Earl Brown, if you're in the virtual courtroom, say your name for the record.
Teran Earl Brown.
Thank you. And who's representing Mr. Brown?
Jim Malafine, on behalf of Mr. Brown, Your Honor, at this time, would like to continue or plead not guilty and ask for a bench trial date.
Mr. Brown, the court is going to enter a not guilty plea for you. Your bench trial date is November 30, 2023, 8:30 in the morning. It will be a Zoom connection. So the same way you connected today, you will connect on November 30. And we will give you personal bonds, so you don't have to pay any money, but you must reconnect on November 30. Any questions, Mr. Brown?
No.
All right, sir, you may disconnect from the hearing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, Angel Booker, I don't